Hello, this is Jonathan Gardner from Lazy Cow Farms, and I just went through my books. I'm using Canoe Cash, if you're wondering, and this is the situation for the farm, and these aren't final numbers, but they're pretty close to final. I'm going to go through and double check some of the stuff and make sure that everything's correct. But this year was kind of a bumper year for our farm. One of the reasons why was I sold a bunch of animals. The cows, especially, I think I sold one sheep, half a sheep really. But I just wanted to go over the numbers for you. So the cattle, we actually made $30,000 selling cattle this year, which sounds like a lot of money, and it is kind of a lot of money. But I'm going to show you the expenses too. You can kind of see those numbers below there. And I sold half a sheep. As you know, I expected to get like 100 lambs in August and September. I did not. So I'm rethinking the sheep equation. I think I'll still make money with sheep. I just got to develop better, stronger breeders by having the lambs in June. And I did buy one animal. I bought a cow, a steer that we had butchered. There's the butcher fees. So it's basically $4,000 for that steer. And most of that animal is still in my freezer. I think I did that in March. Yeah, I did that in March. So that's $4,000 right there, just for one animal. I don't remember how many animals I sold. I think I probably sold like 12 or 14 or something like that. A lot of open cows were in there too, so they didn't get very much money. Diesel to run the side-by-side. This is the total that I spent on diesel all year long. It goes through probably about 10 gallons of diesel a month. And so we probably ran about 100 gallons, which that's about the price of diesel times 100. So equipment, I'm not really sure what that is. I think it's like tools and stuff like that. Feed, all the feed altogether was $8,000. I think that the dogs probably counted for $2,000 or $3,000. I wasn't too careful with separating out all the stuff. I really didn't buy very much chicken feed, just a couple bags. I don't think I put the expense of the chickens in there either. It was like $20 or something like that. The hay was $3,000. And the sheep, that's just the cubes. I probably spent about that much money on the cubes. Fuel, that's probably part of the diesel. I got to go through and sort things out. The van. So I use the van to drive and do all of the farm work. I pretty much only drive it to do farm work. Sometimes I drive it to the restaurant to transport myself back and forth from the restaurant and sometimes to pick up stuff. But that's a pretty good estimate for how much it costs for me to drive around town and to drive back and forth to the farm, oftentimes twice a day. Internet, domain name, stuff like that. Labor, I'm not sure what that is. Meals. So when I go out and feed the kids after they go do work at the farm, that's probably an exaggeration there. Mortgage interest. So I have 60 acres. I bought it back in 2021. I got a really good interest rate. I don't think you can get that kind of interest rate for it. And the property value since then has increased by quite a bit. I tell people, I'm like, well, if I didn't do anything at all with the farm, I'd probably be making more money than all the work I'm putting into it. And then repairs, various things that need repairs. Electric bill. So you'd think that an electric fence would be expensive. The vast majority of the electric bill is just the bare minimum. So I'm using so little electricity, they're just basically charging me to leave it on. And I brought a refrigerator out to the pasture and put it in the shop there, and that's probably $100 of electricity at most. So the electric bill is really low. Even if the fence is leaking, like if there's a short or something, it really doesn't use that much power. So water. So the water situation, if there's a big leak and I don't find it for 2 days, that's a $700 bill. Okay, so if I'm out there every day checking the water, looking for mud, then any kind of leak that does happen is a smaller leak. So I probably could have saved at least a couple $100 on the water bill if it was a little bit more aggressive, making sure that the water was, left no leaks. But this is feeding all of the animals. It's feeding the cattle. It's feeding the sheep. I think sometimes when I put the cattle out in the back 20, I'm not giving them water, but they really don't drink that much water. Okay. And what's nice is this is clean water. This is water that I can drink. I can feed my kids this water. So all of the expenses all together, about $25,000. That left me about a $4,000 or $5,000 profit this year, which This isn't really an accurate picture because each of the animals has a value, and if I choose not to sell the animal, I'm still making profit. It's just an unrealized gain, right? So, but I think this year I cashed out on a lot of the cows. I needed the cash. Also, I didn't want to keep the cows around anymore, and wanted to kind of slim down the herd because I'm going to try to breed with that South Pole bull, and this is like a genetic bottleneck here. So the fewer animals I have, the more control I have over it. And a lot of the animals didn't breed back too. So I did something wrong last year. So a lot of animals had to go. So that is what the cash flow looks like for the whole year. So what is that? $400 a month? Let's go to Vegas, baby. Right? For your operation, notice that there's a couple things that isn't on here. I don't have tractor expenses. I don't have to repair a tractor. This equipment might be some fencing material. I might have bought some fencing material this year. That can add up pretty quick. The feed situation. I'm not buying cattle feed except hay, right? I think I'm getting like $50 a bale. Let me just see how many bales of hay I got. Pull out a calculator. So $3,000 divided by 50. So I got like 60 bales of hay for that money, right? From a local guy. He lives like 20 miles from my farm, and he's more than happy to move it and ship it, and I pay him a little extra for him to unload the trailer for me. I just borrow my neighbor's tractor. I pay my neighbor with hay, so he has animals too, and I just say, hey, if you need hay, just grab it. I'm probably putting more wear and tear on your trailer than you do, your tractor than you do, because I'm actually using it to move hay. And the fuel costs, the diesel is not as expensive as you think it is, especially because it uses so little diesel to move around on that side by side. So guys, have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.